code, and that is KDX87. That's Kilo Delta X-Ray 87. And that phone number, for those who can't see my screen, is 877-896-3611. Or if you're outside of the United States, it's +1 310-878-2626. All right, so we'll turn to Q&A now. So I'd love your questions. Please don't be shy. A couple of questions here. Jim says, I'm looking at the iPhone app. Some reviewers have issues with your system. Are you aware of these reviews, and what has been your response to correct these issues? Jim, I don't know which reviews. We've got hundreds of thousands of customers. We've got some who love us and some who don't love us. But if you can direct me to which reviews you're talking about, I can take a look at them and make sure our support team. We've generally got a policy. If we ever have a disgruntled customer that, we'll generally offer them a full refund, and our support team will work with them. So, but I mean that happens when the law of large numbers. But we've got an 85% renewal rate, so 85% of our customers are very, very happy with this. Tim asks, can you talk about server backup options, Windows 2003 server? So Tim, it'll work on Win2K3 right out of the box. What else would you like to know? I can talk about that all day long. A traditional sort of deployment on a Win2K3 server would be to use Windows backup to back up the server and keep doing that to your local, because it's pretty solid and it's free. It's a pretty solid backup tool and it's free. And then use SOS to back up the most critical data on that server. David says, where are the backup servers physically located? Can I assume backups are mirrored at multiple sites? They are mirrored, David, to multiple sites, and we've got data centers all around the world. So Texas, Arizona, California, Canada, Australia, India, Ukraine, the United Kingdom. So we've got data centers all around the world. Matt asks, is it Exchange Server 2000 aware? Can you back up direct to the cloud and restore mailboxes individually? You can't restore mailboxes individually, Matt. What we do to handle that particular scenario is to export the mailboxes to PSTs at backup time and back up all of the PSTs if you really need to do mailbox level recovery from the cloud, which would be pretty unusual because for mailbox level recovery, rather than just full database, you'd usually do that via local backup and then just do full database backup to the cloud for total disaster protection. Hope that makes sense. Okay, great. Okay, no other questions on the line for the moment. But, Tim asks, is there a cost to become a partner? Tim, there's various partnership options, and there is a cost to some of them. Generally, what we try and do is we try and give a price break for volume commitments. So if you can commit to a certain level of volume, you can get deep discounts, which drives up your margin. So it depends if your primary concern is profitability or if your primary concern is cost, and we'll work with you either way. Matt asks, is there a Linux client? Great question, Matt. There isn't one today. We will have one this calendar year. It's currently estimated for summer. However, we do work with Linux, so so long as you've got a single Windows box in your network environment, we'll use that as the backup staging server, and we'll pull data over the network from Linux, Unix, Mac, whatever you like. And most environments do have, at least one Windows box on the network. Kelly says, you mentioned that you cannot set bandwidth throttling on a timed basis. Is this something coming soon? Kelly, you're the second person to have ever asked me that, and the first person was earlier in today's webinar. So normally, I think this would be addressed. So the answer is it's actually not on our product roadmap, but it's a great thing for us to put in our next survey. We do surveys for partners once a month on what features would you like to see us prioritize, and so partners get to contribute in a voting system to what we put on the roadmap, which is a pretty cool element of our program. And so I'm going to put that on the next survey we do. But of course, you can always do that with your edge router or gateway device. So if you really do need time of day based throttling, you can achieve it that way. Kelly also asks, is there a Unix client? Kelly, exactly the same answer as to the Linux client. You can back up Unix, but there's not a native client. We're aiming to release one in the summer of 2011. Jim asks or says, sorry, I was on a business call, so if you answered, I did not get to hear you. Sorry, Jim. I'm not sure which question you're asking me to discuss again. While you retype it or point me to the right one, I'll take the next couple of questions. Mike says, is there a file size limit for uploads and backups? Yes and no. No, theoretically, but yes, because we use Windows volume shadow copy services, and it needs to make a snapshot of your file. So we're a little bit constrained by free space. I'll give you this example. If you had a 200 gig hard disk drive and you had a file that was 110 gigs, then we wouldn't be able to make a snapshot of that. Now that seems like an absurd scenario, but it does actually happen sometimes. But generally there's not. The most typical file sizes that we back up are usually below 2 gigs. I mean, that probably makes up 99% of the files on our system. We've got billions and billions of files. But then we've got lots of business customers who will back up 5, 10, 20, 30 gig files as well. Matt asks, have you seen issues with network congestion when you have a large number of computers on a network all backing up using CDP? No, Matt, because generally the actual amount of the payload being shipped is tiny because we use block level differential binary compression. We're extracting just the binary change in files, even when we're using CDP. So it actually reduces the data payload enormously. Tim asks, is your pricing a per gigabyte model? It is, Tim, yes. Kelly asks, for the initial seed, can we make a copy on a USB-based drive and ship it to you if it's a large file, say 1 terabyte? Absolutely, Kelly. That was the PMU, or Physical Media Upload service that I was talking about earlier. And that comes to our California location, and we do the upload for you. Matt asks, where are your data centers? So for those of you who didn't catch this earlier, we've got data centers in continental United States as well as in several states. We've got 5 of them here, and then also in Canada, the United Kingdom, Australia, India, and the Ukraine. Jim asks, pointing me to look at the. Oh, Jim, okay, so some people don't like the way our iPhone app works because you've got to recover files via Safari. Jim, the reason we do that is because Safari has tremendous file support. What I mean by that is if you've got lots and lots of different and heterogeneous file types, the wonderful thing about Safari is it knows how to read all of those different file types. So we made the call to use Safari to really increase data access coverage. So you can use it to watch a movie, you stream a file, look at a PDF, open a PowerPoint. Whereas if we had to go and build all of those adapters ourselves, it would have been a far more limited application. So I don't think the people who made those comments, and now I do know the comment you're talking about, I really don't think they understand the limitations of the Apple platform. And using Safari is pretty much what most other app developers do in a similar scenario. So there's not really a good solution. So yeah, I think it's probably more of we've done a poor job of communicating why we made that decision rather than the decision itself being a poor one. Mike says, you said earlier there is really no file size limit. I have a DVD filled with family videos. Each DVD is about 5 gigs. Can these be backed up to SOS? Sure, Mike. It might become cost prohibitive, but there's no reason they couldn't be. Are you a potential partner, Mike, or are you just interested in using it for yourself? Just for home use. You certainly could use it to back up family videos. If it were me, I would just be having a local backup of those sorts of family videos just because there's so much data. But of course, it depends how many you've got. In my case, I've got terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of video data, so I wouldn't do my personal video collection. So I guess it just depends on volume. Matt asks, is SOS a publicly traded company? Private investors interested in company stability. We're a privately held company, Matt. Stability, I think the best indication of our stability is we've been around for 10 years. We've been growing at 50% a year. We've got 150 employees worldwide, hundreds of thousands of customers, 1,000 partners. So I think those are the best indicators of the sort of company we've built. And so we are a very stable company, and I think we've got the track record to show it. Mike says, excellent webinar, thanks. Mike, my pleasure. We love talking to customers. So we're running out of time. I'd encourage any partners on the line to call in and talk to a partner specialist. Get an ROI model done. It's 10 minutes of your life, and I think it's 10 minutes well spent. Of course, the other reason to call in is to put your name in for the Kindle giveaway, and again, that promotion code is KDX87, Kilo Delta X-Ray 87. The toll-free line's 877-896-3611, and the direct dial number, if you're outside of the United States, is